It's now time for our news review, and this week it comes courtesy of a new reviewer. I'm very pleased to welcome for the first time Jagmeet Singh from the Basics of Sikhi. Good morning, Jagmeet. Thanks very much for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's talk about a very important anniversary for Sikhs this year. This was the 350th anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh's birth? Yes, his birth. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I want to congratulate everybody on that, because it's a very, very special time, especially for Sikhs and actually everybody around the world. There's been celebrations throughout the world celebrating 350 years that in 1666, Guru Gobind Singh, he's the 10th Guru of the Sikhs, or the 10th version of the first Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It's the same light. And they came on this earth to actually destroy tyrants and bring righteousness and bring away a new path where we could, as Sikhs and as the Khalsa, protect and serve humanity. And so this is really a celebration of life itself and, doing the right thing intrinsically.
And how was it celebrated? How was it marked?
Well, throughout the world, in the West, America, Canada, England, obviously Australia, and especially in Punjab and India, and at the Guru's place of birth, Patna Sahib, there have been amazing celebrations and prayers. Traditionally, Sikhs celebrate with displays of martial arts, gatka, kirtan, which is holy hymns that came directly from God being recited and sung, and katha, which is discourses and helping people understand what the Guru's message really was. Right. And obviously, something that you mentioned a bit earlier, langar, which is free food for everybody.
And where, why would you come in with no free food?
I bought bananas. They're in the green room.
I'm teasing you. Okay, well, let's turn our attention to some of the stories that we've been covering this morning. The NHS has rejected claims of humanitarian crisis in England's hospitals. Now, the Red Cross claim that there is a humanitarian crisis. And one of the NHS England specialist directors said he thought the service was not at that point of crisis, but admitted that demand was higher than ever. We know that there is pressure on the NHS. I wonder what you made of this story.
Well, what I make of the story is that the NHS, they should actually do more. They've been saying for years they're going to do X, Y, and Z, but it's really when you are afflicted with a disease or a pain or something that brings you into the hospital system that you realize what's going on. Last year, I had actually got pneumonia myself, and I really got a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on, and I could see that they are overwhelmed, that the staff are trying their best, but the resources are not being spent where they could be. Our CEO, Jagmeet Singh, for the Basis of Sikhi charity, educational Sikh charity and YouTube channel, he actually, unfortunately, got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer just a few weeks back.
Right, I'm sorry to hear that.
And he was ill for about a good year, going to the doctors, going to the hospitals, and everybody kept fobbing him off. And we were really quite heartbroken that all of a sudden, in the Sikh community was outcrying a lot of pain, because all of a sudden, somebody that's given so much to us has been diagnosed with such a serious illness. So something that when it hits home and happens to somebody that is very near and dear to you, you can see that actually the NHS does need reforms. They do need to spend the money in the right places and take care of the society.
What would be the right places then?
Well, I'll tell you, they should take care of their staff, and they should actually come at it from the experience of a person suffering. So when you come in, when your loved one has been, needs to be taken care of, what do they need? Because a lot of times it comes to the, they have like a checklist of these people we can help. This is the amount of money that we do have, and the rest of them, sorry, you're on your own. And
so, do you think that are you implying that if you need critical care, you may not get the best treatment on the NHS?
I'm saying, yeah, exactly that. That sometimes it's a numbers game to them. They're so money oriented and money minded that it's very, very frigid and very, very, it's not done in the correct manner. So what we could do is have an overhaul of exactly where the money is spent.
But do you think that the money, I mean, there is a huge amount of money that goes into the NHS. I mean, some people are saying that there should be more money put into it and that we should cut the foreign aid budget.
Well, I can't say that we should cut the foreign aid budget, because we should be there's enough money to go around. We should really be looking at where these resources are going properly. Like when we had the whole Brexit campaign, they said about £430 million £1 a week that could go to the NHS. So
Which wasn't true.
Yeah, it had some crazy numbers flying around. So the thing is, there's enough money out there, but where is that money actually being spent? And all the staff being taken care of, all the doctors, the junior doctors, the people that actually are on the ground doing the hard work, even they're saying, look, there's major problems, and it just seems like the money's being siphoned somewhere, and the resources are not being used properly. And the people that are in charge, they do need to be held accountable.
0207 224 2000 is the number to call. Anything that I'm discussing with Jagmeet Singh, if you want to comment on, feel free to do so. Theresa May is on the front page of the Sunday Telegraph this morning. She says that the government should not just get out of the way and insist there's more to life than individualism and self-interest. She says that she plans to create the shared society as a reform vision. Now, you look very quizzical at that. You've read the article, Jagmeet. What did you make of it?
I found it quite confusing because we are in a shared society. So in the article, it states that Margaret Thatcher said that there is no society, and Theresa May is trying to create a shared society. But the fact is, you can't create something that's already existing. We do have individual people, we do have individual families, but we all coexist, and we are in a growing multicultural society.
Yeah.
And in SikhPA, our gurus have taught us that we must take care of everybody. We can't just take care of our own as individuals, but one of the principles, Vandake Shakana, that we must work hard and share before we consume.
Right.
So that means that if my neighbor is suffering, if my brother is suffering, if anybody else is suffering, how could I possibly be happy?
Yeah.
So what that really means is that, we're in a shared society, that we must take care of all people. And I don't mean all people just in the UK or just in London, but we must think as a one world. That we must think if people are suffering in Europe, or be it Syria, or wherever they are suffering, we must have compassion for them and help them wherever they are, because what the world is proving year by year is problems across the pond, problems that seem so foreign and far away, they're going to be at our doorstep at any moment in time. So we have to be active participants and help each other and love each other.
Do you think that we have lost that notion of compassion, though? Because for many people now, it's more about the individual. It's more about the things that affect us directly, you as in I, or, rather than we, that we no longer really think we think I.
I certainly do think that. And, it goes back to like our school systems, because even in school, you're taught, hey, beat everybody else, get the A. Even if you've got to cut their throat, you be number one, because you've got to get into the best college, get the best job.
Yeah.
And they almost teach you the opposite of compassion. Cut their throats, get ahead for yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your family. If you don't, nobody else will. Where we need to flip that and say, look, we are one society. If we share, if we take care of each other, we can all move ahead together. And it goes back to the NHS problem, where even our gurus have taught us that we must literally take care of everybody with food and with medicine. Deg fateh. So we must actually really, it doesn't matter about how much money you have or whatever your circumstances are. When you fall into hard times, it's up to us as a society to band together and love each other and show them that the compassion is there.
0207 224 2000. Just this final story very quickly. This is about the Pope. The Pope apparently is preparing to allow married priests to return to their ministry in a surprise move expected to infuriate conservatives already alarmed by his theological reforms. Cardinal Walter Casper, who's a confidant, has indicated that Pope Francis is planning to spring some great surprises, which are believed to include permitting married priests to be welcomed back into the church, particularly because there are a lack of priests in certain areas, certainly in Latin America, and this is one of the major things they're trying to cover. Now, I know for Sikhs, presumably your priests do marry, is that right?
Certainly.
Yeah.
One of our main tenets is Jivan Grist, which means that as Sikhs, we're not allowed to be leave society and leave our families and go off into the woods or the mountains and pray by ourselves. We actually have to be holy people and live within the family unit and live within society, so we can aid and love and serve society.
Right.
So personally, I love the new Pope. Since he's come into power, he's actually just changed a lot. He seems to be a man of true compassion, true love. So I think, if he's doing something, it must be for the right reasons. And why not? Why can't we have men that are married in happy marriages with families leading congregations? because after all, what we need is strong families. A strong family unit will create a strong town, strong city, a strong society, and that will create a strong country that we can serve. So I don't see this as a bad thing, but why does it go against the conservative members of that religion? Because I know in Sikhi, all the priests, they're allowed to marry. It's a common thing.
Right.
So it's like, what's inside the religion that actually, there's a friction within that, and maybe that needs to be reformed. Maybe the Pope can clarify, actually, this is not going against the religion, and these are the reasons why.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll have to, once I get Pope Francis on the programme, I'll ask him. Listen, so lovely to meet you. Thank you ever so much for coming in this morning.
God bless.
Really
Thank you for
appreciate it. That was Jagmeet Singh, who's a volunteer at the Basics of Sikhi. Keep your calls coming in, 0207 224 2000, or you can text by starting your text message with the word London to 813.